Check. That's why. Check. All right, you should be good on this. Let me know when we're live.
We're live.
All right, so this is not the Hebrew class, but the brother had a question on Hebrew. So before we get into some other scriptures, what you have is Magun Dawadah. So when you see the quote unquote Jewish community, they'll turn around and they'll call this the Star of David. You understand? But when they translate it, they'll say Magin David. You understand? Because what they're really saying is Magun Dawadah. Magun means shield. Dawadah is David's name. So when you look inside of, the reason why I didn't draw the Assyrian is because you wouldn't be able to see what's left of the pictographs. Because in the Paleo Hebrew, you're able to see that. So what you have is Magun. So Ma and Ga and Na, gun, because this is a closed consonant. So it becomes compound. Magun Dawadah. What David did was, David went and created a seal. Much like, okay, so we're all from New York, right? So everybody's heard of the New York Yankees. Do they just write that every time? Nah. This is the New York Yankee symbol, where they took an N and a Y and they sealed it together. And now that became their seal. That became their insignia. That's graphic design. Well, Dawadah, David, used to sign his name. And he used to have a seal. And a lot of times, there's even in Esther, there was a king whose ring was his seal. You ever see, like, even the old school movies, you ever see them, you ever see they have like wax, like the red wax, and then they put an imprint in it, and then that's how you know it came from the king, and you can't break the seal on the letter. Otherwise, you know it's been tampered with. That seal was so no one else would be able to read that but who it was for. Well, David took his name and he started writing it like this. And that became his seal or his insignia. And then that became the seal of Zion, the shield of David, because David, whose throne does Yahushua sit on? He sits on the throne of his father David. This became a symbol of our empire. Even when you go and you look at the temple that they found in Capernaum, the ruins, one of the oldest temple, you know what I'm saying, in existence. You know, Yahushua visited temples there. You'll find the pillars. And now you see how, like, we have the fleur-de-lis in the corner like this? Well, on the pillars, you find the seal of David looking just like that in the temple ruins. Why? Because this became a symbol of our nation, because it was a symbol that represented our King David. So it's Magun Dawadah, the shield of David, or his seal. No sweat. Now, if you want a scripture, let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 10 and verse 22. Turn this off. Put the shades on because I'm nice like that. Check, mic check. And now we're going to all go to... let me try to get there with you. I don't know where my 1611's at, so I'm gonna use the app. Yeah, we're good. 10 and 20, 10 and 22. Second Ezra's in the Apocrypha. And a second Ezra's 10 and I want to say, is it 22? Or am I tripping?
22 is our salt.
Yes, that is exactly what I want. See, I'm freestyling. Oh yeah, you're getting used to it now. Okay.
It's up on the screen.
Second Ezra's 10. It's on the screen. No sweat. Yeah, make sure that the people can see that. All right, Second Ezra's 10 and 22. Matter of fact, is your mic on?
Okay.
If you could read that nice and loud, and then also this will be for the crowd.
Book of Second Ezra, chapter 10 and verse 22. Our psaltery is laid on the ground.
Anybody know what psaltery is? What does that word look like? Psaltery. Looks like psalm. What is psalm? Psalm is a song. Our psaltery is laid on the ground. Our psalms, our songs are laid on the ground. That's our psalms. Go ahead.
Our song is put to silence.
Our song, you understand? Now it's reiterating. It's laid on the ground. Our song is quiet. Go ahead.
Our rejoicing is at an end.
Our rejoicing, you understand? There's nothing, you understand, to rejoice about at this time. This is a time of lamentation. Go ahead.
The light of our candlestick is put out.
Because even if we were to start in 21, you don't have to go there. But for thou seest our sanctuary is laid to waste, our altar broken down, our temple destroyed. This is after, remember, Maccabees is after the dedications, is the book of dedications. This is where Hanukkah comes from. And we don't have a physical temple today. But what we do have is ourselves. Remember, our body is the body that houses, is the temple that houses the spirit of the living God. So as a result, we have to rededicate ourselves to the Most High, and we have to make sure that we stay locked in. You understand? Like this is not the temple. This is a school in the land of our captivity. This is a little sanctuary. You understand? Read on.
The ark of our covenant is
run it back to the light.
The light of our candlestick is put out.
What is our candlestick? Our candlestick is the manara, the menorah. We have one. Oh, right there. And this is the one that I believe we use on Hanukkah that we actually burn. And what happens is, you understand, this is our candlestick. This is something that belongs directly to our culture, directly to the children of Israel. You could read in Exodus where we were told, you understand, in order to design this structure. Good.
The ark of our covenant is spoiled.
I mean, brother, the ark of the covenant is spoiled, is destroyed. We talking about the temple. We're talking about all our sacred items, you understand, that we have inside of the temple. These are all extremely important items. I mean, the imagine everybody want to turn around and say that we're not Israelites. You know how quick that battle would be over if we could just pull up with the ark. You understand? If we could open up, you understand, the top of it, and we can go in and pull out the jar of manna. If we could pull out the staff that Moses threw on the floor that turned into a serpent, if we could pull out the tablets of the 10 Commandments, ain't nobody gonna say we ain't the Jews now. You understand? But all of these things are gone. All of these things are laid to waste. Good.
Our holy things are defiled.
Our holy things are defiled, man. The things that are supposed to be separate, they have destroyed. Good.
And the name that is called upon us is almost profaned.
And the name that's called upon us is almost profane. Like it's almost profane to call yourself an Israelite. You say that today. You know what they say? They say, oh, they never existed. Oh, you guys aren't the real Jews. Like they have a million things to turn around and try to say that, like, our holy name is profane when we're supposed to be the greatest people on the face of the earth. Go ahead.
Our children are put to shame.
Our children are put to shame, man. Our children are put to shame every time they try to put one of them in a damn dress.
Right.
Every time they get them to dye. You think it's a coincidence? Every rapper just started dyeing their hair cotton candy colors. You think nah, that's engineered. That's somebody in the label saying, hey, this is how we want you to look. This is what's going to sell records. They put them through, artist development, and this is how they develop them. And some people hold out, or they have a big enough fan base or a big enough buzz that they have more leverage when negotiating. And other people, they want to get out of this condition. They want to get out of the destruction. So as a result, what do? They jump onto a record deal, and they are willing, you understand, to sell themselves out to the highest bidder. Good.
Our priests are burnt.
The Levitical priesthood destroyed. Good.
Our Levites are going into captivity.
Who's going to perform all the Sabbath services? Who's going to perform the sacrifices? Who's going to be able to do that, kid?
Our virgins are defiled.
Our young women are defiled. Now our young women is like young Diamond, who's, I think, 24, 26, and she said she's already slept with 2,000 people. That's beyond ran through. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what to call that. That's crazy. Like, you only had 20-something years on Earth. You got 2,000 bodies. That's not insane. Your hymen only pops once. You know what I mean? One time to signify if you've been with another man or not. That's it. You know what I mean? That's designed inside your anatomy to know if you've been passed around or not. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know in these times, listen, y'all can be born again. I understand. It's going to take a lot for Diamond to be born again. I'm going to tell you what. She gonna need a whole bunch of grace and mercy from the Lord. That's crazy. You understand? Our young women are defiled. Good.
And our wives ravished.
Even our wives have been taken from us. Like, you understand, these things that are supposed to be protected, we have no protection. Our gates lament. Our gates languish. Good.
Our righteous men carried away.
You understand? Like them that would turn around and not profane. They are all carried away. And that's what happens to us. Like, they go and they take the best of our society, the people who want to actually do good. And then you know what we do? We become, even the sisters, we become hidden colors, and we put the man on the moon in 1969 and NASA doing all the math equations. You understand? We become, dentists and doctors, and then we move out the hood. We don't turn around and come back and try to build our own infrastructure. And you wonder why the Arabs run, every deli. Right. You wonder why the damn not Afghanistanis, the damn Iraqis run every gas station. They say America runs on Dunkin'. It's all snake eaters in there. It's all East Indians. You know what I'm saying? Right. It smells like nothing but curry and ass in there. Salakia. You know what I'm saying? Sweat. You know what I mean? Coming out the pores, all the cumin, the mint. You know what I mean? Like, that's them. Why? Because we have profaned the Lord. Now, let me tell you something. Like, this is, we talking about, you understand, what means the most to our nation, okay?
Our little ones destroyed.
Our little ones are destroyed. You understand? How many of them are in foster care? How many of us seen Juvie? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He'll never ever hear about Spofford. You know what I'm saying? Because I think they renamed it the Bridge anyway. You know what I'm saying? But we're destroyed. World Star, all these other things, man. Like we are utterly destroyed inside of our captivities. Good.
Our young men are brought in bondage.
Man, we brought in bondage. You use 2 million black men in the prison system right now, and guess what? They working at McDonald's for 50 cents a day, sewing military uniforms, 70 cents a day, being shipped overnight to go bake bread in the middle of the night over at not Panera, Whole Foods, in the bakery. You know what I'm saying? They doing all this, good.
And our strong men are become weak.
Our strong men are what?
Become weak.
Our strong men. You got brothers out here with breast implants. You understand? You have men with titties on the corner wearing high heels and just wanting to look like little Nas X, and you know what I'm saying? All these other filthy sodomites, and they should be on post in all black. Right. Ready to defend their nation.
Damn right.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, let me tell you something. I met this brother on the slavery. You know, now he's not effeminate. You know what I'm saying? But he's in another Israelite group, and I'm like, brother, you supposed to be with us. This cat is jacked up. You know what I'm saying? Like he looked like he could run through a wall, smooth and easy. You know what I'm saying? And he in GOCC. I'm gonna just say it. And I'm like, what are you doing over there, bro? You too strong to be over there.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, brother, like our men would rather be in softer places. You understand? Or they've become weak. You know what I'm saying? He's a cool brother. I like him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, brother, you fam. You supposed to be here, man. And just like you understand, the brothers out here running around, you know, trying to be like what Caitlyn Jenner. You know what I'm saying? Caitlyn Jenner, sisters should be mad. Caitlyn Jenner in her first 6 months as a woman became Woman of the Year. Y'all were born women, and Epsi ain't called none of y'all. Nobody. Said, let's give it to Caitlyn. She was on the Wheaties box. It's not crazy.
It's a damn shame.
So this is some pretty important stuff. Read the next verse.
Verse 23. And which is the greatest of all.
Which is the greatest of all. I mean, we talked about some pretty great things. Virgins of Israel, pretty great things. You understand the temple. You understand the menorah, the manorah. Our brothers, our sisters. But there's something that was called the greatest of all. Go ahead.
The seal of Zion.
The what?
The seal of Zion.
You know what the seal of Zion is? That's the Magun Dawadah. You know how I know? Good.
Hath now lost her honor.
Because everybody, you know, nobody tries to deny the menorah. Nobody denies fringes. Nobody denies any other symbol inside of Israel. They try to act like this symbol lost its honor. They try to call this the Star of Molech. You understand? As if, first of all, where's the archaeological evidence? Don't show me cartoon memes online or, you understand, some Masonic lodge that was built in 1970. Why don't you show me something that actually goes back, you understand, to 750 BC? Oh, you can't? Is your Bible scratch and sniff? Is it a pop-up that you're able to see images? Like you're going to open up the Bible and that's just going to spring out on the Molech page? No? Or are you religious? Are you falling victim to propaganda? See, the very proof that you don't want to wear this symbol is the proof that this is the seal of Zion.
Right.
Because it's lost its honor. How did it lose its honor? Go ahead.
For she is delivered into the hands of them that hate us. Because
it was delivered into our enemies. And now you see our enemies putting this on their flag. And what do you say? No, we can't touch it. Stay away. Oh my God. And it don't work like that. This belongs to us. You find it in the archaeology. You find it on the temple in Capernaum. What you think it just so happens that there's two triangles here and there's two triangles that spell David's name and that's a coincidence? Y'all believe every other coincidence. I'm on TikTok in the middle of the night in the rabbit hole watching every conspiracy theory on the planet, but this is the one that gets you. Right. Because it's easier to say the earth is flat. You ain't got it. You could argue about that. You don't have to get off drugs. Let's argue if the world is flat. Why don't we talk about, you understand, how we got to put weed down? Why don't we talk about how we got to stop drug dealing? Why don't we talk about how we got to stop abortion? No, like, brother, what I really like, but the abortion clinic, it's on a flat earth. There's no curvature. I don't want to really pick up battles that matter. You want to fight about minuscule things because it's escapism. We want to fight about things that don't matter. We don't want to restore the virgins that are defiled. We don't want to restore our children. We don't want to make weak men strong because that involves too much. And so we're so selfish. We'd rather keep self-medicating. We'd rather keep getting high. We'd rather keep being weak. You understand? We'd rather keep doing all these things. Now, medication is good. There's nothing wrong with medication, but there's a problem when you abuse it. You understand? So when you read about all this, the very proof that people treat this like it's taboo is the proof that this belongs to us. This is the Magun Dawadah. This is our symbol, and don't let anybody take it from us.
Damn right.
All right. We got any questions online?
Sir.
Nothing.
Just brothers and sisters saying shalom and saluting and checking in.
Okay, no sweat. Shalom to everybody in the chat. If anybody has a question, you understand, you can go ahead and type them in. I do remember you. I'm getting yours next. I just wanted to let them know that they could ask questions too. Sister, before we went live, asked a question, and you said, if I phrase it right, how do you battle your demons? Okay. There's a couple of ways for you to battle your demons. One of the first ways is you have to acknowledge them. You got to acknowledge what the issue is. You got to acknowledge what the problem is. You understand? So, for example, weed is a demon. So if you know weed is your demon, you know what you should do? You should stay away from smoke shops. You should stay away from ciphers in the park. You understand? You should stay away from your friends who smoke weed, because you know what's going to happen? Or you should leave when they're about to roll up. Listen, we're not a cult. Some of y'all got friends in the world. You understand? But if you're going to be enticed, if you're going to be, quote unquote, unequally yoked, you understand? Like, matter of fact, I'm going to tell y'all something. That's how I got one of my brothers to come to the Passover. Because I used to go to their cookouts all the time. And I'm like, I don't think I could come to your next one. And they're like, why not? And I'm like family there. Like, you know, his aunt, his mama, all of them know me. They love me. I damn near go every year. I don't think did I miss this year? They might not have went this year. I'm going to call them and find out, because usually it's this last weekend. Usually it's Labor Day weekend they throw it. Is it Labor Day or the weekend after? I don't know. Around this time. You know what I'm saying? Point being is, I'm like, because I've invited you to the Passover and I keep coming to your cookout, you do not come to my feast. We are unequally yoked. You know what I'm saying? The brother turned around and said, you know what? I'm coming to the next Passover. He came, brought his whole family. You don't want to do things that, you know, you don't want to give too much to people in the world that you ain't giving back. You want to be, the way you fight your demons is being rooted in the truth, knowing right from wrong and knowing what your demons are. That's why I gave a small example, not saying you, but if you smoke weed, you got to stay away from weed. You understand? Some people might have medical issues or ailments. You understand? Like if you pay attention to Christ, when Christ would cast out a demon, it wouldn't matter if it was something that could be classified like mental illness. It wouldn't matter if it would be something like a physical ailment. When he would heal someone, he would cast out a spirit. Everything in the I'm gonna have to translate this to blackety black. You know what I'm saying? Everything in the physical has a spiritual counterpart. That's why the scripture says, what you bind on earth, you bind in heaven, and what you bind in heaven, you bind on earth. That's why when David numbered the people, when that angel pulled the sword out its sheath, people were dropping dead from pestilence in the land, because that was the spiritual counterpart, that angel and that sword, to the pestilence inside the earth. Like when you see all this death, and you know, people are doing crazy things like throwing spears at moving cars, that's because there's a spirit loose in the earth. So the way that you turn around and combat that is you want to be rooted in the truth. It's like what's one way to get rid of a mouse? Mouse traps. How about a cat? Cats will destroy, they'll eat mice. You understand? Here's another thing. You got to get angels. You have to have the Lord on your side. You have the Lord on your side when you serve the Most High Power. Right. When you obey the law, statutes, and commandments. When you pay your tithes. You understand? That's another one. People turn around and act like tithes ain't no law. You understand? Tithes is for sure a law. It's like the Christian church that's the only law they want to follow, and fake Israelites, that's the only law they don't want to follow. It's like an exchange. It's insane. You know what I'm saying? But they sure as hell, they're not going to pay the Lord's tax. They're going to pay the IRS's tax. Right. You know what I'm saying?
There's one question in the chat.
Job, 8 and 11? We'll get there right after this. So what you want to do, sis, is you want to be able to get stronger. So the way you get stronger is demons are something spiritual. Well, if you want to get physically strong, what should you do? Go to the gym. You lift weights. Every class you come to is spiritually lifting weights. You understand? The more classes that you come to, the stronger you're going to be able to get spiritually. You understand? Like when I first came into truth, I didn't miss a class. Classes was 7 days a week. I was in class 7 days a week. When I wasn't in class, I was watching videos. See, y'all are spoiled because y'all can go on YouTube and you could start today and never run out of videos for the rest of your life. I came into truth. I think I ran out of videos in 2 weeks. I started going in the archives on the internet and finding old school videos. I exhausted those. You understand? Then by that time, I started making videos. You know what I'm saying? And then watching other brothers and studying and radio shows and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be able to get spiritually stronger, and you get spiritually stronger by putting in spiritual work, just like you would physical work. So you keep coming to class, you keep asking questions, and you call for counsel. You ask for counsel. You understand? That's how you'll get stronger. All right. Any other questions in the room? All right. Let's go to Job 8 and 11. If y'all got any questions, you can go ahead, type them in the chat.
Job chapter 8 and verse 11. Can the rush grow up without mire? Can the flag grow without water? Verse 12. Whilst it is yet in his greenness and not.
Could you actually start at verse 8?
Okay. Job chapter 8 and verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. Verse 9. For we are but of yesterday, and know nothing, because our days upon the earth are a shadow.
Good.
Shall not they teach thee and tell thee and utter words out of their heart? Mm-hmm. Can the rush grow up without mire? Can the flag grow without water? Whilst it is yet in his greenness and not cut down, it withereth before any other herb. So are the paths of all that forget God, and the hypocrite's hope shall perish.
Yeah, so we got to follow the old way. You understand? Like if you want to, you understand, like we can't neglect the Bible. We can't neglect our forefathers. You understand? Like if we want to be able to grow, if we want to be able to flourish, you understand, we can't cut ourselves up we can't cut ourselves off from our past. You know what I'm saying? Like the reason as to why we're going to be able to get out of captivity today is because we can go back and look inside this record. We can't have the paths that forget the Most High. You understand? And we can't be hypocrites because we'll perish. We can't act like we follow the Lord and not follow him. And then at the same time, you know what I'm saying? We can't walk the paths that forget God. That's what they try to do today. You know what they try to do today? They try to, like, if you cut a Christian, like if you battle a Christian pastor or a woman who believes she's a Christian pastor, and you take her to Titus or Timothy, she's going to say, that was written in the past. That was written for then. She's going down the path that forgets God. You understand? She's trying to not remember the former age. She's trying to not search, you understand, the way of the fathers. She don't want to look at yesterday because yesterday cuts her today.
Right.
You understand? Like if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. Not eating pork, crab, shrimp, lobster, tuna, catfish still works. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery. It works. You cannot reinvent the wheel. You understand? So we follow the old way. We follow the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right? Any other questions online?
Lies.
Nope. Any other questions in the room? I told y'all all know the Bible. Y'all should be teaching this class. I don't even know why I showed up today. I'm joking. Did you say? I hope you ain't say what I thought you said. Don't worry about it. Be quiet back there. Good. Well, the Most High is not coming to earth. Yahushua is coming to earth. The one that people call Jesus Christ. His name in Hebrew is Yahushua. That's his name. Mashiach is the anointed. That's where you get Christ from. So he's the anointed. He's our king, Yahushua. He's returning. Okay. When he comes back, he's coming back, you understand, with a military force that people want to call UFOs. That's going to be the chariots of the Most High. And the chariots of the Most High are for sure going to burn this place to the ground along with thermonuclear warfare. The Third World War is around the corner. We're really in the beginning of it ever since, Gog went back for Magog. We're literally watching, you understand, pages of Revelation unfold. You got to turn on the news. You see everything that's going on with Russia and Ukraine. That is biblical prophecy that we're witnessing today. The Euphrates drying up is biblical prophecy that we're witnessing today. All of that. You understand? Like we close to the end. We're going to what? Correct. You understand? Like ours is the world, is the society that comes next. We're going to be in rulership after this place is destroyed. Good.
There's one question in the chat.
Let's go.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
So now, first of all, this proves that Adam and Eve had a mother and father. Because who's the mother? This is after Adam and Eve were, quote unquote, created and joined together. What mother and father are they leaving once they came together? Oh, nobody? They're the first people? No. You understand? Adam and Eve were not the first. Adam and Eve were the first people born again on the earth. They were walking around just like us. Then we heard the truth and breath entered into our nostrils. That's Adam and Eve. Now they come together. Once you come together, two things happen, right? First, you're no longer under your parents' authority because you two have come together. So as a result, you two are about to start your own family. Once you start your own family, you become one flesh. You're supposed to be on one accord. A man and a woman that are together are not supposed to be, ideologically divided. You understand? A man and a woman who come together are one flesh because you understand what happens once y'all have children. Doesn't both of your flesh become one? So now how are you two going to be divided in raising this child?
Right.
You understand? It's going to cause confusion. Somewhere down the line, your child's going to have to make a decision on which parent they're going to follow. In the regular world, what's supposed to happen is a man and a woman come together, you understand, serve the Most High, and in all adversity, raise these children, you understand, and future generations together in one mindset, under one ideology, under one philosophy, on one accord. So when flesh is joined together, these two are on one accord, meaning if something is one, it is not separated. All right? that scripture can be added as far as coming into the school. I don't know if what I would do is I would go to Ezekiel and show the valley of dry bones and compare that to Adam and Eve and show that into coming into the school. But yes, that was Adam and Eve coming into the truth. That was when the Lord gave them the truth, the laws, statutes, and commandments, when he gave them the breath of life. The breath of life is symbolic of instruction from the Most High. His laws, statutes, and commandments. That's how we come to life. All right. Question? Brother wants a breakdown on Exodus 23:3.
Okay.
All right, let's go there.
Exodus chapter 23 and verse 3. Neither shalt thou countenance a poor man in his cause.
Go back. Go back. Start at 1.
Exodus chapter 23 verse 1. Thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness.
You understand? So now we're talking about how we're supposed to treat each other, good?
Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment.
Good.
Neither shalt thou
because now, what are we talking about right here, right? Neither shall thou speak in cause to decline after many rest to judgment. So now we're talking about what? How you judge somebody, good?
Neither shalt thou countenance a poor man in his cause.
You understand? So now you don't look at a poor man's countenance, you understand, and judge him based off of that in his cause when judging the matter that he's bringing to you. You judge righteous judgment. You're not supposed to turn around. You can't be a respecter of person. You know what I'm saying? You can't look at somebody's countenance and make that the cause in making your decision. You have to actually hear the matter. All right?
There's another brother who wants a breakdown of Revelations, the 9th chapter, 16th verse.
All right, let's go there.
Revelations 9, verse 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000.
He said just 16?
16 through 18.
Okay.
And I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them.
Can you just pull 16 through 18 all up at the same time? I think if you go up.
Is that?
It's here? All right.
And thus I saw the horses in the vision.
So now this and the number of the army of horsemen were 200,000. Whenever we say 200,000 is 200 million. This is the return of Yahushua. When he cracks that sky and he comes back with the chariots, that's the amount, you understand, that he's bringing. 200,000, and then you add 1,000 is 200 million. You understand? So this is talking about Yahushua and his army. Good.
And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone.
You understand? Which means they're bringing destruction. You want to think like, you know, if you see a lion, right? Like is the lion like a cat you just go and play with? You understand? Nah, like the lion's coming to devour you. But this is something like what you were talking about a second ago, sister, that is coming to bring fire and destruction. Like this is not coming to play. This is coming to lay waste to everything that's in its path and devour it like a lion. Go ahead.
By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths.
And this is a part of how America is going to become the lake of fire. You understand? When they rain down this destruction on all of these areas, much like they did Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, it was fire and brimstone that rained down on them. So you want to think that this is the destruction of Babylon the Great. This is the judgment of the earth and all the nations that partook, you understand, in our destruction and captivity. And this is Yahushua and his army coming to redeem us.
Brother wants to
Y'all could ask as many questions as you like, all right?
Brother wants to break down of Ecclesiasticus, the 17th chapter, 31 through 32.
All right, let's go there.
Ecclesiasticus 17 and 31. What is brighter than the sun? Yet the light thereof faileth, and flesh and blood will imagine evil. Verse 32. He vieweth the power of the height of heaven, and all men are but earth and ashes.
Okay, let's go up and get some context. Let's go to start at 19.
Verse 19. Therefore all their works.
18.
Verse 18. Whom, being his firstborn, he nourisheth with discipline, and giving him the light of his love doth not forsake him.
You understand? The light of his love doth not forsake him, meaning who is his firstborn? You understand? This is Israel. If you read verse 17, it's going to say he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion. You understand? The Lord chooses even the rulers of these other nations. The Most High is in control of absolutely everything. Good?
Verse 19. Therefore all their works are as the sun before him, and his eyes are continually upon their ways.
Like what can hide from the sun? You get what I'm saying? Like the Lord can see absolutely everything that we do. Go ahead.
Verse 20. None of their unrighteous deeds are hid from him.
And this is the whole point of it, because the sun is the brightest light that illuminates everything inside the day. You're not going to hide anything from a light that vast. You understand? So this is why it's telling you, you can't hide your wickedness. Go ahead.
But all their sins are before the Lord.
So now this is how you know that this is talking about nothing can be hid from the Lord. So drop down to verse 31.
Verse 31. What is brighter than the sun?
What is brighter than the sun? This, do you understand? Nothing is brighter than the sun. Not in our solar system. Good.
Yet the light thereof faileth, and flesh and blood will imagine evil.
You understand? Meaning that the light that we're supposed to follow, the light we're supposed to be in, that fades. And you know what happens? We still imagine evil. Even though we know the Lord knows everything, even though we know he can see what we're doing, we still imagine this evil. Go ahead.
He vieweth the power of the height of heaven, and all men are but earth and ashes.
And that's what you got to realize. Like the Lord don't got to play with you. He don't got to argue with you. You understand? Men are just earth and ashes, and right. He could turn you straight back into that. You better be aware of the power of the Most High and know you're hiding nothing from him.
Right.
All right.
Slacky, there's a few more questions. Brother wants to know if there's any scriptures that'll tell you if you're dealing with an angel.
The scriptures say that you've entertained angels unaware. You understand? Like there's times where you will know if it is an angel, and there's times you will not. And the whole point of this is, if you knew it was an angel, you would just treat him good off the rip. You know what I'm saying? But this angel's coming to you in a certain capacity to gauge you and your integrity and how you treat people. Right. You understand? Because if you just knew it was an angel, you know what you do? Sir, you understand? You would like, please, I'm, you whatever. You know what I'm saying? You'd act humble. You'd have a sense of humility. You understand? Like now, if you just know everyone's not an angel, you'd be like, this jerk off. I don't want to help him right now, especially in New York. New York, we just try to mind our own business. So there's going to be certain instances where maybe it's revealed to you. There's going to be certain instances where it's not. But we have a law of strangers. You understand? And strangers is our people that we don't know, and you should be good to them. You understand? Like, you shouldn't look at that brother or sister who's downtrodden based off of his countenance and say, man, I'm not going to help this person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a sister come up to me the other day, asked me if I buy her a beer. And I said, yeah, of course. And she started explaining to me. And I said, hey, sis, you ain't got to explain shit to me. You asked, I got it, I got you. You had a long day. Sister look homeless. You know what I'm saying? I have a house, and sometimes I get off work and I need a drink.
Right.
You imagine how much more of a drink I would need if I was homeless, if I had no roof, if I was sleeping in the street. God damn, I would want a drink to ease a little bit of my pain. Good.
Isn't there a scripture that says something about let the poor person drink and forget their troubles?
You know what I'm saying? That's what the hell you're supposed to do. So I had a couple of extra dollars on me. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, put it on my tab. You know what I'm saying? Told Habibi I got it. I don't know if she's an angel. I don't know what the hell she is. I know she was a sister. I could help. So I did. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to sign, you know what I'm saying? We can't do that. But what you can do is, if you believe you had an experience, you could bring it to somebody who's seasoned inside the school, like a General Muhammad, and explain your experience. You understand? And then he could judge and determine the matter. But I'll tell you what, it'll happen. Some of y'all might be blessed enough. Some of y'all might meet somebody, have a whole conversation with them. You're going to look left, you're going to look back, and they're going to be gone. And you're going to judge, you're going to be judging yourself in the mirror later, like, did that happen? Am I going crazy? Nah, it happened. You understand? For sure happened. So, like, you're gonna have a conversation with somebody, they gonna tell you something nobody in the world could have known. They're gonna walk out the door, you're gonna be stunned, you're gonna run out the door, open the damn door, and that you're gonna look left, you're gonna look right, that person's going to be gone. Poof. Done deal. And sometimes they just gonna walk off, you're not even gonna notice. You understand? I do want to give y'all one clue, but I'm not, because then y'all gonna be looking for it too much. Go ahead, sis. Angels come to deliver messages. Angels come to test you. Angels could come to destroy. Angels could come to bless. You understand? It's all about the Lord's will. You understand that angel, that the orders that the Most High, you understand, gave that angel, and he's obeying his Lord, his master. He's obeying the Most High power. You understand? Got any other questions?
Sir. What is the great mystery in Ephesians 5:32?
Let's go.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 32. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Yahushua and the church. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband.
Go up a couple verses. Start at Go up. Start at 22, maybe.
Verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord.
Brothers love that scripture. You know what I mean? Hey, let me hip y'all to something, right? Do not pull this scripture on your wife when she's not listening to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like don't use this as a manipulation tactic. Like, God said it. It's true. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all something real right now. This is real spit. Right? Wives, submit yourself onto your own husbands, meaning your own husband, and meaning you don't have any other man, as unto the Lord. You talk to any sister, you know, if Jesus came down and asked you to make him a sandwich right now, 3 a.m, would you do it? Yes, of course I would. That's my Lord. Your husband's your Lord. You're supposed to obey him like he's Christ. Brothers, don't pull this on your woman. You're going to make yourself weak. You understand? Like if you got to use the scriptures, you understand, to get control of your woman, like you really ain't got no control over your woman. You understand? She gonna hear it in class one day. It's gonna cut her to her core. Read on.
Verse 23, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Yahushua is the head of the church.
You understand? For the husband's the head of the wife. You understand? The head is what? In charge. These women got all these ideas. I don't need you to think for me. You understand? There's only one head on a body. Otherwise, it's Siamese. You need no Siamese twins. That's a birth defect. Good.
And he is the savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Yahushua, so let the wives be to their own husbands.
Well, that one would be Mashiach because it's Christ.
Count.
All right.
Therefore, as the church is subject unto Hamashiach, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
In some things.
In everything.
In a few things.
In everything.
In the things she agrees with.
In everything.
In the things she likes.
In everything.
In every blood clot ting. Go ahead.
Husbands, love your wives, even as Mashiach also loved the church.
You understand? And how did Christ love the church? I tell you what, he checked the church, and he checked Peter, and he turned around and said, "Get behind me, Satan." I'm not telling y'all go home, call your wife Satan, but what I'm telling you is there's a responsibility that comes with being in charge. You know what else he did? He taught them. He long suffered with them. You understand? I mean, how many times were they just not getting it? And he was just like, how long are you guys not going to get this? Y'all walking with me every day. You don't see this? Ain't that like what it's with your woman? You told her 37, 40 times. You got to do the same thing with brothers. You understand? And guess what else Christ did? Christ gave his life for the church. Now, real quick, what is the church? Oh, no sweat. You understand? We're going to stick with this translation. The assembly would be the gathering of the people. So what is the church?
Us.
We are the church. The church is 2 or more Israelite men. Remember, the scripture says, if 2 or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst thereof. 2 or more Israelite men is a church. You understand? And Christ gave his life for the Israelites. Read on.
Verse 26, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
You understand? Because baptism is not water-based. That's John's baptism. Christ's baptism, you understand, is the washing of water by the word. The word is what cleans you. You read this word and you obey it, and that's what washes away. If eating pork, very simple example, is unclean, and now you read in Leviticus the 11th chapter that the swine is unclean. Now you stop. The word has just washed you. You understand? Like soap could wash your ass. Like soap could wash your behind, but it can't clean your soul. Only obeying the Lord and shedding wickedness can clean your soul. Go ahead.
Verse 27, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish.
And that's how we're supposed to be. Remember, Christ gave us perfection. So that's like the bare minimum requirement that we're supposed to give. Good.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
And once again, this is another thing when it comes down to being one. That's how everybody has to be able to love each other. You got to love somebody how you want to be loved. And that's reciprocation as well. You understand? That goes for sisters as well. Good.
For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church.
Good.
For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones.
You understand? And this is how, you understand, we become one. Why? Because everything that we're reading about is about the man and the woman being joined together. Good.
For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh.
And they two shall be one flesh, meaning what? They're going to agree. Why? Why do they agree? What's your job when you become one? The man's job is to protect you, to guide you, to love you. You understand? The woman's job is what? A helpmate, to follow, to serve this man. We become one accord and move like a unit. Go ahead.
This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Mashiach and the church.
Go ahead.
Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband.
You want to know why this is such a great damn mystery? Because nobody wants to do it. You understand? It's such a mystery because everybody acts like this is the hardest thing to do on the planet when it's giving you the instruction on what to do. All right?
Brother would like a breakdown on Matthew 24:19.
Let's go there. It sounds like a fun chapter.
Matthew 24:19. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
A breakdown on Matthew's 24:19. Let's go up a couple of verses. Let's go up to 15.
Verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand.
You understand? So when you see the abomination, desolation, you understand? When you see that swine that was sacrificed on that altar, when you see all these things transpiring, that you understand ungodliness has filled the holy places of the Lord. Good.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains.
You see that? It's a sign to get the hell out of Dodge. You know what I'm saying? You flee over the mountains. You flee where? You flee towards wherever the mountains is at, because that's going to be the place that's protected, that you're going to be safe. Good.
Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
Yes, you ain't got time to take nothing. You got to go. That's how serious it is. Good.
Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes.
Good.
And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
You understand? Just imagine if you got to breastfeed and you got to make this journey because Jerusalem is about to be destroyed in 70 AD. You understand? Because the armies of Titus Vespasian and all of them are about to march on your capital to destroy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you can't take supplies. You know what I'm saying? We can't take extra clothes. We can't. I mean, like, we got to, like, woe onto them. You understand? In that time. Because destruction is coming. So it's letting you know, and like, you know, like just think about, this might be hard for some brothers, especially, you understand, because there's such excellent wives inside the UPK. But if any of you, you understand, have ever just been left with your child for an extended time, or if you've been a single father, you understand, just getting the kids together is crazy. You understand, especially like when they're babies. You know what I mean? You got, or even if they're like a year and some change, they putting everything in their mouth. They getting up. You got to wrap them up. You got to put them in the stroller. You got to bundle the stroller. You got to wrap the stroller. God forbid you live on the 23rd floor. You got to get in the elevator. You got to come down. You live in the Bronx, so parking is blocks away. You in the cold. You in the winter. You walk in blocks. You get them in the car. You take them out the stroller. Put them in the car seat. Break down the stroller. Put it in. You get in. You sit down. You forgot something. You know what I mean? Now you got to get out the car, pull out the stroller, put the baby out the back in the joint, go over here, run, walk back them 4 blocks, get in the elevator, go up 23 floors, get in the house, grab it, and then guess what you got to do? You got to go back down 23 floors, walk your 3 blocks, get to the car. And this is with cars, with heat and technology and elevators. Imagine 2,000 years ago in ancient Palestine. What are we talking about here? All right. I hope that answers your question.
That's all the questions for right now.
That's all the questions. What time is it? Do I got time to do the Mark of the Beast tonight?
It's 8:15.
45 minutes for the Mark of the Beast, brother. That's... Have I done more with less? I don't know, because I like to be thorough on this.
I know you can pull it off, sir.
Yikes.
Now you got all the people watching.
Oh, Salakia sis. I'm sorry. I couldn't tell. Well, I really didn't look at the name. I read the question, but you know what I'm saying. 45 minutes.
Now you got all the viewers in suspense.
Yikes. All right, let's do it. Let's go to Revelations 13. I wanted to like really get into. Maybe I'll get into a little bit of it. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I'll revisit this. I wanted to go like a little deeper on this too, because what I really wanted to bring up was like I wanted to go into the Medici family. I wanted to go into the Catholic Church. I wanted to go into like all the different you know what I'm saying? How like, you know, y'all ever heard of the separation of church and state? You know what I'm saying? At one time, the church and the state were one. The Pope had a vast army, and everything that was Rome was under his command. You know what I'm saying? Like this was the Themba 76. Sakari said it's the RFID chip. Sakari said it's the RFID chip because they're a bastard offshoot of their GMS's bastard children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So Glorilla Shebrew teaches their doctrine and he doesn't understand the Bible. That's the problem. I wouldn't listen to them anymore. Anyway. So let's get into a little bit of history, and then what I really want to do is get into if we can, I'll see if I can even get a clip. I want to show y'all BlackRock, Vanguard, what they own, and get into all this. So let's go to Revelations 13:1.
Revelations chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns.
So now I saw upon the sand of the sea. So now the sea is what? This is the world. What's going to rise up out of the world? You understand? This beast. And this beast has 7 heads, 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns. You understand? Crowns are symbols of rulership. Heads are symbols of rulership. You understand? And upon his head the name of blasphemy, meaning what? This beast pushes blasphemies and lies against the Most High. All right? So now, read the next verse. I'll break everything down together after that.
Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
You understand? This dragon being Rome. You understand? Like this beast and this dragon, they are synonymous with each other. Why? You understand? Because the dragon is what's creating this beast. Now, the seven heads are the 7 superpowers that came out of Rome. The 10 horns that are on its head is the 10 common stock markets, is the nations that came out of those 7 heads. So the 7, those you understand, 7 white empires that came out the fall of Rome is Portugal, Spain. Remember, at one time, Spain and Portugal ruled the planet. You understand? Italy, France, Germany, Russia, and England. I'll say it again. Portugal, Italy, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, and England. Now, the 10 horns are the 10 common stock markets that came out of those nations. So, for example, Belgium, all right, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Denmark, Ireland. And, you know, if you look, Luxembourg, Denmark, the Netherlands, all that came out of Germany. Ireland came out of England. Switzerland comes out of Germany. Australia comes out of England. Australia was a English prison colony. That's where they sent all their criminals. You understand? And now they all, surf and,
Right.
you know what I mean? Austria. Austria comes out of Germany. Scotland, England, and America. Remember, America came out of England. Those are the 10 nations, you understand, that came out of those 7 heads. Those 7 heads all came out of Rome. Rome is that dragon. All right. Blasphemy. Why? They're known as liars. And now remember, we know this because inside of that vision, it goes back to the book of Daniel. So when you're reading about the leopard, what was before Rome? There's a reason why it's called the Greco-Roman Empire. It was Alexander, you understand, the Greeks. You understand? If you were to go and see his exhibit, or even if you type in Alexander, they're going to call him the Great. I'm going to call him the Greek. You understand? You type in Alexander the Greek on Google, you will see Alexander riding into battle, either draping his horse or himself with leopard print. He was very famous for the leopard skin. You understand? Prior to that, it said the bear. You understand? The bear was the symbol of the Medo-Persian Empire. You understand? Then it talked about a lion. Before that was Babylon and the Assyrians, right? Before that, you have, matter of fact, that image you were about to see. You see the leopard? You could click either the first one to the left. You see the leopard print on his horse? You can go and you can Google that. You'll find that leopard print, you understand, with Alexander. Before that, the symbol for the Medo-Persians was the bear. And before that, you understand, the symbol of Assyria and Babylon was a griffin, which was a lion with wings. All right. So it's telling you, you understand, and this beast I saw was like onto a leopard. It's telling you like where this beast came from. You understand? This beast came from here. How did he get his power? From the dragon that was Rome. You understand? And then he grew 7 heads and 10 horns. This is all talking about nations, from Assyria to the Medo-Persians to the Greeks to Rome to all the different European superpowers, all the way down to America today. All right. Let's keep reading.
Verse 3. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death.
So when was his head wounded? Anybody want to take a guess? Like if we're talking about these nations, right? And we're talking about one of his heads was wounded. When was this wounded?
Fall of the Roman Empire.
A wound, though. You know what I'm saying? So you right? You understand? We want to talk about during the Dark Ages. During the Dark Ages was when he was wounded. Good.
And his deadly wound was healed.
When was the deadly wound healed?
Renaissance.
During the Renaissance period. That was the revival. The Dark Ages was a period of from about 193 AD to 1453. During that time, you understand, dark-skinned men actually ruled the entire planet. Yeah, Servius Septimius and Priscinius Niger in 193 AD, they overthrew the Roman Empire. You know what Niger means? It's Latin for black. You understand? Priscinius Niger was a black man who was one of the emperors at that time. There was 2 emperors, and then eventually they went down to you get all the way down to, you funny as hell for putting that on the screen. You are hilarious. So now what happens is over time, there was a lot of wars. There was instability. You understand? You don't want to think of Europe as like, the united front that you see today with all these different nations. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in Italy, Naples was its own city. Venice was its own city, and they were not joined together and allied all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like you go and you watch history, you'll find out that like you had papal states that weren't papal, all these different things depending on what year that it was. So this is around the time where you got, Franks, Barbers, all these different people having wars all throughout, history, from early in that time all the way up until like the 1500s. 300 AD, Constantine moves the capital of the Roman Empire to modern day Istanbul, which is Turkey. You understand? Constantinople and Istanbul is the same place. That became known as the Byzantine Empire. Byzantium, or the Byzantine Empire, was actually a black empire. They ruled that area, and a lot of the people from the Byzantine went out, and then they expanded into what you know as the Anglo-Saxons and all these different areas, you understand, throughout Europe in their conquest. You have the Crusades, you understand, 1100 First Crusade, second 1300s. You got the Great Schism with the Neri and the Galapi. You have all these things transpire, which is a battle of iconoclasm, where they were fighting over the images. Like what we have is the Russian icons, which are icons of the black images of Christ and the disciples. We have that because the Byzantine Empire held on to those. During that war of iconoclasm, they wanted to destroy the black images and started resurrecting and raising the white images. Up until, you understand, the late 1400s, after in 1453, in the middle of the 15th century, Constantinople was sacked and raided by the Ottoman Turks, which was white men who converted to Islam. You understand? This is a Russian icon. You could see in the back a dark-skinned image of Christ, and you could see him whitewashing an image of an angel, making it white. This is in a book called The Russian Icon. That book right now is $1,100, $1,300, if you can even find it on the internet at this time. I got a copy. Just throwing it out there. Quick flex. Very excited about that. I bought it for $80. Did one breakdown on it. The next week it was $1,100. Salakia. So now what happens is 1453, the Ottoman Turks sack Constantinople, and then now this is the fall and this is the end of the Dark Ages. You understand? We held on to England and all those, and Scotland and all those different areas up till the 17th century. So mid 1600s, King James, all that. You understand? His son Charles was the last one to rule before they beheaded him. They whitewashed everything, done. We ruled Germany up until the 18th century. You understand? And you don't want to think of Germany as today. You want to think of, you understand, Germany back then. Completely different borders, completely different country. We took over and ran that area. And then eventually what ended up happening was, white people took over Washington. If you go look at the German coat of arms, if you get a book called Fairbond's Crest, you'll see all black faces on the royal coat of arms during that time period. 1453 is that downfall, and then now you're in the middle of the Renaissance, and now Florence is arising, and you have the Medici family. The Medici family, at the end of the 14th century, started a bank. Their family was merchants. They took all the money that they had and they invested it into a bank, and then they grew to be one of the wealthiest banks in the world because they financed the Pope. They got one of the popes in through with their money, and because they backed him, guess who the Pope decided to bank with? The Medici. The Medici believed in art. So what they did was, y'all have heard of Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci. All of them came out the Medici school. You know what I'm saying? When you were extremely rich back then, you would go and you would, painters would live with you. You would commission them. They would paint everything in your house. You'd commission them to do the Sistine Chapel, all of that. This cat controlled everything around him because he controlled all this money. You know what I'm saying? Starting with Cosimo Medici, going all the way on down, you understand, to his sons. You know what I'm saying? Sometime around 1492, the same year that Columbus sailed the ocean blue, the Medici Bank closed its doors. But you understand, guess who, you understand, became the Pope shortly after? One of the descendants of the Medici. because they would run and control all of this, because the papacy was one of the strongest things at that time. If you ran the Catholic Church, you ran the earth. You understand? So the Renaissance was when they started whitewashing all of those images, and that's how Caesar Borgia became known as Jesus Christ. Because you understand, Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci would paint these images, and this was Michelangelo's sodomite lover. You know what I'm saying? They were actually in bed together. He actually also, Caesar Borgia, committed murder in order to sleep with his sister Lucretia, committed incest and all that. And that's who they tried to paint as the greatest man, you understand, to walk the face of the earth, Yahushua Mashiach, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Painted him as a sodomite, a murderer, all that. All right. So that was their rise to power. This is why we know about those names. This is where all of that comes from, because it was during that time period, you understand, where his deadly wound was healed. Good.
Verse 4, and they worshipped the dragon, Salakia, the end of verse 3, and all the world wondered after the beast.
And all the world wonders after the beast, that they look at the statue of David. You understand? They look at Rome, the Roman Colosseum. They look at Florence and all of its, rich history, and they have classes that teach Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci's, you understand, art techniques, and they became the standard for art inside the world. You understand, to the point where, I mean, name a more famous painting than the Mona Lisa,
right?
Because the whole world marvels after this beast. Name a more famous statue than the naked ass sodomite they tried to make David.
Right.
You understand? Name a more famous image of the Most High, Adam and Eve, than what's painted on the Sistine Chapel. Name more famous images of angels than little white naked angel babies. Now you know why the Catholics were painting little naked angel babies.
Right.
Because these are pedophiles. The whole world marvels after this beast. Go ahead.
Verse 4, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast.
You understand? And how do they do that? Because everybody comes, and what did they get from the dragon? They got democracy from the dragon. And all of them make democracy and capitalism, you understand, the religion and infrastructure of their society. Y'all thought the religion of America is Christianity? No, it is money. It is capitalism. It is democracy. And they spread democracy with the sword.
Right.
You understand? Like, they turn around and they worship this beast. And guess how else they worship him? Because the Roman Catholic Church conquered the entire planet. So now when they come, you wear this crucifix or you die. You understand? When Columbus sails the ocean blue in 1492, he sails with Caesar Borgia, and now all the Taino Indians are Catholic, are Christian, worship white Jesus. Now all they understand the Mexicans are cutting bathtubs in half and making giant Mary statues behind them. You get what I'm saying? Now you go to Brazil and there's a 50-foot statue of white Jesus, Caesar Borgia, on top of the mountain, because he made the whole world to marvel after him and worship this beast. Go ahead.
And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast?
You understand? Who's like who was like Rome? Rome, and this is the continuation of the Roman Empire. Red, white, and blue goes back to Rome. White is what the Senate wore. Red is what the military wore when they crossed a certain river and they went out and fought. And when they crossed back over and they were policing the city, they wore blue. Why do you think it's the boys in blue? Why do you think the police wear blue? All that goes back to Rome. You know what one of the symbols of Rome was, right? It was the eagle. What's the symbol of America? The eagle. This is literally the resurrection of Rome. This is the reincarnation of it. You think the Roman Empire went somewhere? No, it just changed faces. You understand? Like Twitter. You think Twitter went somewhere? It's called X now. That's it. Good.
Who is able to make war with him?
Who's able to make war with him? Like, you understand, who's able to challenge him? Who's been responsible for all these wars? They conquered everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then once they go and conquer you, then they take your traits. They take your practices. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you think that we celebrate Halloween? Goes back to Samhain. Samhain goes back to the Druids. So when Rome went to go, you understand, conquer the Celts, guess what? Now we bob for apples. Now we have Halloween. And it just keeps getting passed down and rebranded. Good?
And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemy.
You understand? And this mouth speaks great things and blasphemy. God loves everybody. Blasphemy. Right. Homosexuality is an alternative lifestyle. Blasphemy.
Right.
Jesus is white. Blasphemy.
Right.
All nations can be saved. Blasphemy.
Right.
All of these things. Pork is the other white meat. Blasphemy. You ever notice that you know what's crazy? If you just do the opposite of white people, you'd be closer to serving the Most High than anybody. Like listen, we read English left to right. What way is Hebrew? God's language. Right to left. You understand? God said it's man and woman. The white man says it's man and man. It's man and sheep. It's they make it whatever the hell you want. White man says, well, even if you do want a woman, you could only have one. God said you can have as many wives as you want. You understand? The Most High says, you understand, you can't eat, crab, shrimp, lobster. White man says it's a delicacy. We're going to open up Red Lobster. You know what I'm saying? The Most High says you can't have no blood in your meat. White man says, I want a blue steak, just brown the outside. You understand? They literally do everything the opposite way of the Most High. Read on.
And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
Good.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy.
Now, 42 months, just so you know, the power that's given onto him is a short time. You think of 42 months, that's not a very long time in comparison to 1,000 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about how long dynasties are in China. Think about how our kingdom is supposed to be forever. And now think about how long America's been running things. 200 years? It's not a very long time. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's 3 grandmothers. Good?
Verse 6, and he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God.
But once again, we just ran through all of them blasphemies. Matter of fact, we gotta get that picture of Caesar Borgia back on the floor so everybody could wipe their feet.
Right.
Good?
To blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven.
You understand? Like I told you, he blasted. The angels are fierce, understand, warriors. And he made them little white naked babies. You know what I'm saying? Cupid. And like, what are we talking about? Like he blasphemies all the host of heaven, all of his armies, everything. There's nothing is sacred to this beast. Go ahead.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
I mean, is there, whether you go back to the Roman Empire, you understand, which conquered the entire known world, or whether you come today, is there anywhere that this beast doesn't have a military base? Like you ever see a Cambodian military base in America? I bet you there's an American base in Cambodia. You understand? Like they have power over all kindreds and tongues. Who's in charge of the United Nations and NATO? Oh, you mean to tell me it's Esau? It's the Edomites? It's the Caucasians? It's the Europeans? I thought so. Go ahead.
And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him.
Yeah, and he made sure that everybody would worship him. Go ahead.
Whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
You understand? And that's what happens, man. Not worshiping the Most High and worshiping this beast over the Most High is death. Good.
If any man have an ear, let him hear.
We all got ears. This is talking about understanding. Understand this. Good.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
You understand? I love bringing this scripture out at camp. You know what I'm saying? I love letting them know. I love letting them know. You let us into captivity, you're going into captivity. Get your lower back right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Stretch your joints out. Listen, buy one of these right here. You understand? Because you understand, an Edomite from Texas is going to build walls for a Mexican to keep his ass out.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like you know, a Frenchman is going to pick cotton or cut sugar cane for a Haitian. You understand? A Spaniard is going to mine gold for a Puerto Rican, for a Taino Indian, for an Ephraimite.
Damn right.
You understand? Because you let us into captivity, you're gonna go into captivity. So get your lower back right, get your stretches, do your elephant walks and squats and all that. You understand? Get right. You got work to do. Good.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Man, y'all killed with the sword, you must be killed with the sword. That is going to be Third World War. You understand? At one time, the sword was the pinnacle of weaponry technology. Guess what is today? Missiles. You understand? Y'all wanted to kill with the sword. The Lord got a glittering sword for you. You understand? With fire shooting out the back of it. You understand? That's going to melt the elements. You're going to learn today. Good?
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
And we have all this patience and this faith. You understand? It's why it's like, I remember the first time I heard what the patience of the saints was, and I had a devil try me one night. And the only reason why I ain't rip him out the car and beat the dog shit out of him, Salaki, excuse my language, is because I said this is the patience of the saints. Because I said, if I do not kill him today, one day God will kill all of them.
Right.
You understand? I know that the Most High hits harder than us. Good?
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
You understand? So now there's another beast coming out of the earth. You understand? Two horns like a lamb, and he spake like a dragon. That's where we are right now. This is America. You understand? Like America is this beast right here. Like, and remember, all of this is the same, but it's explaining that like this is diverse. Like we know what we've seen before, you understand? But this right here, he speaks like a dragon. Like a lamb looks like something that's, you understand, you know, so harmless. Have y'all, if you come to the lamb slaughter this year? See, I didn't understand this because, you know, I grew up in the city. You know what I'm saying? Like the closest thing I see to animal life is rats and pigeons. You know what I'm saying? We don't see no real animal life. You know, depending where you at, maybe a skunk. Son, I seen a fox the other day on Staten Island. It was like I wanted to get out and, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But I was like, bro, this thing's gonna bite me. I'm not about to, you know what I'm saying? But it was so I seen a fox. A fox. Like it was just chilling right there. Like I stopped. I pulled. I'm like, yo, this is a fox. So that's how disconnected I am from nature. That a fox impresses me. Somebody's like, fox. They're all over. What you mean, fox? You know what I'm saying? Like, but when you see lamb, you know how easy it is to yoke one up for the slaughter. Like sheeps are defenseless without a shepherd. They're so easy to be killed. You know what I'm saying? Like any predator could destroy them. That's us. Now this thing speaks. It gives an image. Like it's a lamb, but he speaks like a dragon. You understand? First of all, you understand what does the Gadites say? The North American Indians say pale face speak with a forked tongue. Like a snake, lies. They speak out of both sides of their mouth. You understand? And you know what else they do? They breathe fire. That's the military might. They talk like they're at peace. You understand? Meanwhile, they understand they bombing all the Afghanis and all that. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him.
He exercises all the power of the first beast before him, meaning what? Rome. This is the continuation of the Roman Empire. Go ahead.
And causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
So read that again.
and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast.
You understand? And they caused them to worship the first beast. How? You understand? Through democracy. You understand? We don't vote. You think there's democracy in Israel? No democracy in Israel. Christ is a warlord and a dictator.
Right.
Every knee shall bow. You
Damn
think you're
right.
gonna vote? Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this Jesus. Like, what, are you crazy? You think you're gonna tell that to Yahweh Shai? Crazy. Says when he come back, his garment, his vesture is gonna be dipped in so much blood from all the killing that's going on, like he treaded the wine press. This is insane. You understand? And he exercised all of that. Good.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven.
Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Y'all ever hear of them? That's the places where the first people that, you understand, nuclear bombs were dropped on. You know what I mean? Y'all ever hear of a Hellfire missile? You know what these Apache helicopters can do? You could be in an Apache helicopter, and wherever the pilot looks, that gun underneath is. You understand? You literally looking and aiming, and then you push a button and lighten everything up, shooting 50 caliber. Do you know what a body? I know what it looks like because I looked it up. Now, it was a fake body. It wasn't like some rotten.com, if any of y'all remember that sick shit. But it was one of those gel dummies, and they shot a 50 cal round at it. Dude disintegrated.
Damn.
Just by the force. Like a 50 cal round can fly past your arm, not even touch you, and take your arm with it. This is this beast. Go ahead.
From heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth.
Man, and everybody has been deceived. You understand? You think they're the Jews. You think they're Jesus. You think they're God. You think they're righteous. You think they're priests. They molest your children. Good.
By the means of those miracles which he had power to do.
Oh, yeah. Because now you got to bow down. Oh, the Middle East don't want to listen? Yeah, okay. Well, let's drop some bombs over there. Now women can drive cars. Yeah. Good.
To do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
You understand? And that image was Caesar Borgia. You understand? Was white Jesus. They make this image, and then they take that image and they carry it across to present themselves as godly, and they uphold that all the way on today. That, you see this, you understand, devil in a damn suit and tie, and like y'all mad at Doja Cat. They said Doja Cat dressed like the devil. I ain't see her dressed like Donald Trump. I ain't see her dressed like Biden. I ain't see her dressed like your supervisor. I saw her dressed like a monster that doesn't exist. That ain't the devil I read about. Good.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
Man, and he gives life onto that image. People cry before that image. People bow down before that image. You understand? People come from all around just to take pictures in front of it. He gives life onto it. Good. It moves you. Good.
That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Man, and when you look at that image, like I wish I had a picture of it right now, you could see what it's speaking. Like it's love everybody. You're gay, God will love you. You understand? Oh, you smoked crack tonight? Just ask for forgiveness. Everything is okay. Ain't that what it speaks? It speaks tolerance.
Right.
You understand? It speaks grace is a license to sin.
Right.
It speaks worship me. That's what it speaks. Good.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
So now, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. You understand? It tells you that, first of all, the mark is not a physical mark. This is not an RFID chip. You understand? The problem is people don't understand buying or selling. You understand? So read 17 and I'll break everything down together.
Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
You understand? So now, first of all, buying and selling is not what you do at the grocery store with your EBT card. All right? It's not what you do with WIC. It's not going to the store. It's not your, bloop, Apple Pay. That's not buying and selling. You don't understand economics. The Bible was not written for peons. You understand? The Bible was like the Bible's our law, our constitution. How many of y'all can even recite to me the Constitution? Right. Nobody? How many of y'all could tell me about the preamble? You didn't even know about the preamble? What's a preamble? How many of you can recite me, Article 14C from the Black's Law Dictionary? Nobody? Because the aristocracy is who studies that. You understand? You think the police know the law? How many years do you have to go to law school to be a police officer and enforce the law? Oh, 0? You understand? And y'all want to turn around and talk to me about the book of the laws of God? You know who was in that book every day? The priest. Right. Like you go and you see who Christ was arguing the scriptures with. Did it say Christ was arguing with the fishermen and the construction workers? It says he was arguing with the lawyers and the doctors. You understand? The people who study shit. Like, that's what y'all got to know. So when you look at this, what you do when you purchase Skittles or Now and Laters or whatever, you're consuming. That's not buying and selling. You know who's buying and selling? Walmart is buying and selling. You understand? The steel industry is buying and selling. They're what? They're purchasing this resource to refine it, to sell it to you, to gain profit. That's commerce. Now, from back then until now, you know what? I'll start now and then I'll go back. Why are there cars from the 1940s in Cuba right now? Why don't they have, why is all the building and infrastructure old in Cuba?
Because they cut off their trade.
Because they cut off Cuba's trade. They put an embargo on Cuba. Jamaica defaulted on a loan from the World Bank. And guess what they did? Jamaica cannot sell bananas anymore. When bananas was Jamaica's #1 export. Because this beast has the power to cut off your commerce to the rest of the world. Because Cuba did not want to follow democracy. They sided with Russia's communism. So they cut them off. Even though Cuba's a small nation, it didn't matter if you were Castro or if you were, Juan Pablo. Everyone was cut off from trade and commerce with Cuba. That's why Cuban cigars are illegal in America, because they could not trade with commerce. So when it's talking about this mark, it's talking about cutting you out of commerce. Because if we go back in time, this beast, when it would come and push the image, if you didn't want to follow the Catholic Church, right? And the Catholic Church was going to war with your city, what's the first thing that happens when you pull up to a walled city? Nobody watches, medieval movies? Listen, the Catholic Church is ruling. We're in the 1500s. The Catholic Church, you understand, is making war with your city. What's the first thing that they do? They set up a siege. They encompass your city. And guess what? They cut off commerce. None of the merchants can get into the city to bring you supplies. None of the merchants in the city can order supplies. Y'all can't buy and sell no more. You can't trade. And it didn't matter if you were a great city or a small city. From then all the way up until now, they have been able to cut you off from commerce and from trade. Let me ask y'all something. Us as a people, if I put blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians together as Israel, what do we trade to the world? Nothing. We don't trade international steel. You understand? Like, what's our GDP? What's our gross domestic product? Oh, we don't have one? But we making everybody else rich. Yo, do you know what like the second or third largest export from East India is? Human hair. Human hair. Do you know who's buying all that human hair? My wife. I'm joking. But what I'm saying is, you understand, sisters are turning around. And you understand, like, babe, I want to get my hair done next month. You understand? She gonna go buy hair and get her hair braided. We're buying all the East Indians' hair. Do you know? Do you like who owns all the beauty supply and hair shops over here in America? The Koreans. Who just fired missiles into the sea? The Koreans. I want to tell you, black women, y'all have bought so much Remy from the Koreans that Korea is now a nuclear superpower. I want y'all to know. Y'all don't see we make the world go round? So when you turn around and see this isn't talking about you going to get Skittles. If it was a damn microchip, I want y'all to just feel me for a second. Nobody putting nothing in my skin, right? But you know this is a microchip in here. Do you know if I push a button, my credit card's going to come up and I go bloop with my hand? Do you know there's a chip on my debit card? Why isn't that the mark of the beast? You telling me with this microchip and this in my hand, it's going to cause me to sin? I don't buy drugs with this. I don't buy pork with this. I don't do anything unlawful with this chip in my hand. You understand? Some of y'all still buying weed with that. If you can buy weed with Apple Pay, y'all would. Shit, I think you can in the stores now. I think the smoke shops take that, right? So when it's talking about, you understand, both small and great, rich and poor, bond and free, to receive that mark, first of all, the mark goes in your forehead. What's in your forehead? Your brain, your mind. It's the philosophy of this beast. It's the philosophy of capitalism. It's the philosophy of capitalism that gets you to go rob your brother for Jordans. That's a sin. It's the philosophy of capitalism that gets you to kill your brother in the smoke shop. That's a sin. It's the philosophy of the beast of you promoting democracy as a police officer that helps you choke out Eric Garner, that helps you kill Walter Scott and then hide the evidence with a white cop. Because your mark of the beast is your philosophy obeying the beast, and your hand is not making the purchase. Your hand is acting it out, because your right hand is supposed to be your strength. You're following the philosophy and the belief system of the beast, and you're living it. And this beast has the power to cut off commerce, trade, everything. Read the last verse.
Verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
This is a quantity of men. You understand? There's 666 Edomites that have been controlling the world. You know them today as the Rothschilds, the Warburgs, the Waldens, the J.P. Morgans, the Rockefellers. You understand, these small group of families that have created economies and countries, you understand, since the Roman Catholic Church. Do you understand the Vatican has its own bank? The Vatican is a building like this. Picture this building being its own country. The Vatican is literally its own country. The Vatican is not a part of Italy. It's not a part of Rome. So now, next week, I'm going to build a little bit more on this because we're over the time. It's now 9 p.m. This is we're going to get into BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, Berkshire Hathaway, and I'm going to show you that Berkshire and Hathaway is owned by State Street. State Street is owned by BlackRock. BlackRock not only owns the earth, but BlackRock is owned by Vanguard. And Vanguard is owned by those families that I just named. That's the 666. These are the people who control wealth, who cut off commerce from nations, all right? So with that, I'm going to pass the class over to priest and officer. I almost said Ayash. Aisha Ya Allah. I'm going to do that forever, man. I don't, it's like I want Salakia. Forgive me, brother.
It's all, it's wild. Should I end the broadcast?
You can end it.